Atlantis ISS, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
We are ready.
JSCPAO, this is Houston. Please call Atlantis ISS for a voice check.
Atlantis ISS, this is JSCPAO. How do you hear me? Okay, I think we're ready for questions here.
Yes, we're ready for questions.
Hi, this is Robert Perlman with CollectSpace.com and Space.com. A question for Atlantis' commander, Ken Ham. Yesterday, while answering students' questions, you said it would be an honor if it turns out that you and your crewmates are flying Atlantis' final mission. With that in mind, how would you have STS-132 remembered in the history books? What, to you, has been the highlights of the past 10 days that you feel set apart STS-132 as a mission suiting an orbiter's final flight?
Good question, Robert. I don't want to or hope that we set ourselves aside as a different or better, if you will, crew mission than any other mission that was on Atlantis. One of our objectives from the very beginning, like we talked about pre-flight, was to get our job done professionally, get it done correctly, get it done on time, and then also have a lot of fun doing it, and hopefully show that fun to the rest of the team and everyone else involved, because there certainly are thousands of folks involved in the mission. And I have a feeling, I don't know, we won't know until we get back on the ground and really talk to the team, but I think we did share the fun and share the enthusiasm of the whole experience of flying in space. And that's the way I would like this flight to be remembered.
Thank you. And for Garrett Reisman, during your spacewalk on Friday, we watched as you and Mike floated into Atlantis' payload bay. And on your way to the aft deck windows, you climbed over the tool stowage assembly in which NASA has packed mementos meant for employees and agencies partners to mark the shuttle program's end. Can you share what you are bringing back or what you choose to bring back from this mission as your personal memento of your time on Atlantis, the STS-132 mission, and your last shuttle flight? Thanks.
Well, let's see. First of all, I want to emphasize that we didn't take anything out of those compartments out in the payload bay. We left everything right there. But as far as what I'm bringing back, you know, it's mostly memories is really what I bring back. Memories of not only the spacewalking and the views and the sunsets and the islands we saw, but just memories of all the fun we had. And that's really the main thing. That and photographs and video is that we'll be watching for the rest of our lives.
Hi, this is Gerhard Daum with the German Aerospace Center and Space Expo Association. Question for TJ Creamer. What was your most challenging task and your most exciting moment during your long-duration mission? And did you experience anything you didn't expect? And what are you looking for most when you are back on Earth?
Vielen Dank für diese Frage. It's what can I share most with you? I will tell you that there have been some absolutely astounding things, like the views that we've been able to experience out the windows. We've been able to do an awful lot of science and hard work together successfully. But I think that one of the things that I can honestly share back with you is just the bonding, the friendship, the camaraderie that exists, that when you work long missions together, and in that camaraderie is some absolutely gut-wrenching, tear-producing laughter that we've been able to share with some of the senses of humor we've had up here. And all that combined together is a very warm memory.
Thank you. Question for Piers Sellers. This is your third flight. As a veteran, was there anything new for you? And also, you had to perform lots of robotics tasks. Was it more difficult or easier compared to your training? Thank you.
Well, to answer the first question, yes, it was very different for me. The other two flights I came up, the inside of station pretty much looked the same. It was about 1/3 the size it is now. This place is now a palace. It's huge, and I've had a great fun exploring it. We're seeing station in pretty much its final form, and it's really magnificent. As for the robotics, it was wonderful. I was down there in the belly turret of the station, this glass dome underneath all day, getting a suntan, waving the arm around. It was a lot of fun, and me and Tracy had a wonderful time doing that.
This is Jill Tolk representing the Cohasset Mariner in Massachusetts. So, of course, this is for Steve Bowen. From your perspective on orbit right now, what thoughts and feelings about your final shuttle flight and EVAs would you like to share with residents of Cohasset and the rest of New England?
Missed the Cape Cod lead. Well, no, actually, I saw Cape Cod, which was kind of neat. I'll go back. Piers and I were up in the cupola enjoying the views the other day just for a few moments, and we happened to come right up over Cape Cod, and I got to look down and pointed out to Piers where my hometown was, where Cohasset was, and that was very exciting. So as a memory from this flight, I'm going to, the opportunity to share the world with my friends here on board the space station. And really, no matter where you are, you've got friends you can share with, so that's a great deal.
Thanks, Steve-O. As a similar follow-up question for either you or Garrett. Garrett, before the mission, you had talked about all the hard work that you all were going to be doing on this mission so that you would have a great feeling of accomplishment afterwards. Not just a small feeling, but a great feeling when everything got accomplished. Could you all expand on that?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about having fun up here, but I think the main reason we're all having so much fun is that everything went pretty smoothly on the mission, and we accomplished all of our objectives, and there's nothing like a little success to make you have a really good time. So, yeah, I was hoping that after all this hard work, not just obviously by us, but more importantly by all the people on the ground, that made it all possible and worked out all the engineering details, we had a lot of success, and that's something that was that's what I was talking about before, that I was hoping to have this feeling, and I've got it.
This is Peter Aylward from Southern FM in Australia. My question is for each of the crew members of Atlantis and any of the others who would like to contribute. If it were exclusively up to you, which city or town would you select to be the final location for public display of Atlantis after her retirement, and why?
That's a great question. I'm glad Garrett's not answering it. That's not for us to decide unless I get to pick, and then it would be in my backyard. I get plenty of letters from my homeowners association about leaving my garbage can out and not keeping my grass trimmed, but that would, if I got Atlantis parked in my backyard, that'd make all those letters just kind of disappear.
Thank you. And this is a question for the members of the ISS crew. We've all had the experience of packing for a long trip and only to get there and realise that you've forgotten something large or small that you would really have loved to have brought with you. Have any of you had the experience on this flight to the ISS?
I forgot to bring sweats. Something to keep me warm other than the work pants that I have every day. But I'd have to say that you're taken care of very well up here. We have so many people that are looking out for us on the ground to make sure that not only are we accomplishing our mission and being able to take care of this place, but that we're taking care of ourselves too, because this really is our home away from home. So I wouldn't say that we're missing too many things up here except our families.
Mark Carreau for Aviation Week. I have a question for Piers and Garrett. Both of you have flown to the space station in the past in different capacities. I wonder if you can draw from that perspective and what you have seen about the Earth on this mission, and tell us if you have any impressions that seem remarkable or memorable from the differences. Thank you.
I'll give you the short answer before I hand over to Garrett for the long answer. No. No, the main impression I got was sitting in the cupola for hours is really how small the world is. You go around it in 1.5 hours, but you can recognize fields, roads, city blocks down there. So we live in quite a small planet. It really brought it home.
And I agree with Piers.
Atlantis ISS, this is Houston ACR. That concludes questions from the Johnson Space Center. Please stand by for a voice check from KSCPAO.
Atlantis ISS, this is Kennedy PAO. How do you hear me?
And radio loud and clear, Casey.
Hello, this is Marcia Dunn of the Associated Press for Commander Kotoff and any of the other station crew. You mentioned the other day how scary the oil spill looked in the Gulf of Mexico, and I'm wondering, could you describe it? What does it look like? Does it look like a brown stain against blue water, or use your own words?
Hey, Masha. Good to talk to you. Yeah, the oil spill, we are watching from above every day, and it's kind of sad to see the beautiful sea is kind of tinted. And these days, the stain kind of spread around to the south, and I heard it's going to migrate to the Atlantic side, but we're just hoping the quick recovery watching from above.
Another question for you, Suichi. You're the king of space twittering. You're posting so many pictures and so many words. How is it for you having that kind of access to social media from the space station? And do you find it rather entertaining?
Well, thank you. First of all the kudos to the engineer who made it possible, and also like my personal thanks to my crewmate TJ Creamer, who worked very hard to make it happen. I'm just a user. He's actually the background engineer to make it possible. And my message to you guys is, look, the Earth is beautiful, and I just want to share the pictures. And I'm not the best photographer. There's other people who took a better picture, but I like to just share the how the regular person come up to the space station and see this beautiful view, and just want to share the view. So I'm really happy to have a chance to share the nice, beautiful photographs with you guys.
And one more question for Commander Ham. You mentioned that how much fun you've been having. What was the most fun that you, as all 12 space flyers, have had in the last week?
Yeah, well, Marcia, I probably can't reveal some of the best fun that we had up here. But seriously, I think it was TJ that might have mentioned it earlier. It's spending time with this group of people, and it's all 12 of us. We've bonded up here in space, which is an interesting experience. And I think part of that comes from working really hard and then having pride in your own success. Sort of sets up the human emotion for being happy and being happy together. And there are some senses of humor on this crew that are excellent, to be kind, I guess. We've had a lot of fun laughing together.
Hi guys, it's Bill Harwood, CBS News. One for TJ, just to follow up an earlier question. What are you looking forward to? What are you going to miss? And what are you looking forward to when you get back to the ground, please?
Yeah, what am I going to miss is probably be easy. It's we've been up here 5-ish months, and right now you kind of go, I'm finally getting the hang of this, and it's kind of sad to be departing that operational world that I so enjoy and love, as well as just the camaraderie that we share with our crewmates. What I'm looking forward to, of course, is getting back together with family and friends. Specifically, though, I really like to drink something not through a straw and have the food stay on the plate for a change.
I can understand that. One quick one for Commander Kotoff. Can you give us a snapshot of how is Rosvet doing? You mentioned some shavings the other day. I'm assuming that's filtered out by now. Maybe give us your impressions as commander of the new module. Thank you.
And thank you for this question. That's the new module Rosvet looks really good, and he's still packed with cargo that's Atlantis brought up with this module, and we work very hard to unload this module. But in any case, it's excellent extra volume, and especially this module is designed specifically to be a Russian science laboratory. So we're really looking forward to utilize this module in future. Thank you.
Atlantis ISS, this is Houston ACR. That concludes questions from KSC. Please stand by for a voice check and more questions from the Johnson Space Center.
And Atlantis ISS, once again, how do you hear me? And Atlantis ISS, once again, how do you hear JSC?
Really loud and clear.
Hi, Robert Perlman with CollectSpace.com and Space.com once more, with a question for Mike Good. You entered space on the anniversary of the last Saturn V launch, which was also the liftoff of the first U.S. space station Skylab. That somewhat parallels your own and your crewmates' flights, which is planned as the last for Atlantis, but it is one of the last of the shuttle program. And now you're flying when the International Space Station's assembly is nearly complete and science operations are about to begin. So as your mission comes to a conclusion, can you share if this feels more like the beginning of an end or the end of a beginning?
Oh, great question. It's definitely the beginning of the end here for the shuttle program, and I think as our Commander Ken Ham put it so eloquently yesterday when we were talking with some of the kids, that unfortunately this is necessary for us to move on. You know, the shuttle's an incredible vehicle. You know, it has a payload bay, it has an airlock so we can go out and do spacewalks. It has a robotic arm, it has an unbelievable capability, but it is limited to low Earth orbit. And so as we continue to dream to explore further out into the solar system and to go further, we're going to need to go on to a new vehicle. And unfortunately, the space shuttle is not that vehicle. So we'll say goodbye to the space shuttle and look forward to a new vehicle and new exploration.
This is Jill Tolk with the Cohasset Mariner. A follow-up question for Steve-O. The last time you were on orbit, there wasn't the cupola, of course. Could you describe for me the view or your experience sticking your nose against the windows of cupola?
Did you get any nose prints on there?
Yeah, the cupola is an amazing facility, and really, I think Piers and Tracy and Garrett proved its value with the robotic operations, which is the real purpose for its existence. If it had been up here a little bit earlier, you'd probably get a lot more use out of it. But for those of us that aren't doing robotics, it's just the most amazing place to sit and watch the world go by. And you know, it's an opportunity to look down and see what the world looks like and reflect upon it.
Atlantis ISS, this is Houston ACR. That concludes questions from the Johnson Space Center. Please stand by for a voice check from JAXA PAO.
Atlantis ISS, this is JAXA PAO. How do you hear me?
Really loud and clear.
My name is Higashiyama of Asahi Shimbun. I would like to ask Mr. Noguchi, the Twitter king. Now, you have been in the space for over 160 days, and in about 10 days or so, you'll be back to Earth. And now, looking back, do you think that this was a long stay, or was it a short stay? Another question is, after you come back to the Earth, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to eat?
Yeah, first of all, let my crew member relax a little bit. We have to be prepared for the Japanese question anyway. ありがとうございます。そうですね、160日。
Yes, I've been on the space in over 160 days, and it was really so short. Maybe I could stay 2 or 3 more months. And the Kibo was so beautiful. It's a wonderful experiment facility, and the life here on the International Space Station was wonderful. Now, when I go home, I want to go to a hot spring spa and spend my days there, but I want to go back to Houston where my family will be waiting for me and spend some time with them. My name is Hatanaka of Nippon Broadcasting. You said that Kibo was a wonderful experiment facility. I'd like to ask Mr. Noguchi. Now, in the Kibo, you have been carrying out various experiences. Well, it could be the experience itself or else others. What is the most impressive thing that you felt in Kibo? And also, Mr. Furukawa and other people will be on the expedition as well. So what are the possibilities in Kibo? What would be the potential accomplishments in Kibo? Would you like to tell these people?
Thank you very much. I'm quite strong impression when the January in Kibo, small fine new robot arm assembly was done in January. In March, from the airlock, we have taken that out and actually operated in the space. So Kibo's basic functionality has been completed, and that is I'm very happy about. And Furukawa-san will be coming up later in the future. And what I do the experiment with the researchers on the ground, there was interaction with the researchers on the ground, and that would generate a new experiment, and also some humanistic experiments. Also, there will be new potentials as well for the humanities, and those type of new experiments can be done as well, and so we can further enhance the Kibo in that way. Thank you. My name is Mizuno from NHK. In the 160 days already, this is the longest stay in the space as a Japanese person. How is the physical condition? You mentioned about you are able to stay, you would be able to stay for another 3 months if you are required to, but is that the limit? Or how is physical condition? Thank you for your question. My physical condition is very good. In the first week, I was not used to it, and in space shuttle, just like space shuttle flight, the time in the beginning was rather challenging and difficult, but after that, I would get used to it, and I felt more comfortable. So about 160 days now, so I could perhaps stay for extra 2 or 3 months, I personally think. But with my experience being accumulated, more days in the space, that would be, I think that the more and more the time when the human can live in the space, that day will come in future, I think. Noguchi-san, my name is Kikuchi from Kyoto Tsushin. I have 2 questions. For the Fujirai, sea urchin and the tuna sashimi was brought, but there's a raw fish. How was the taste of the raw fish? That was from the South Pole exploration team. How the other people evaluate about those raw fish? You have taken pictures on the Twitter. When you come back to the ground, what kind of pictures do you want to take on the ground when you come back to the ground? Hi. Yes, in the South Antarctica base station, there was a lot of the space food, and also we had a direct communication with the Antarctica base. Some direct communication was done with Antarctica base. So in a very extremely cold environment, those Japanese, we are able to make very good exchange. In terms of sushi, that was very popular. I enjoyed sushi, but the other shuttle crews, we had some sushi parties a few times, and the Americans, Russians, and enjoyed Japanese sushi very much. And in terms of Twitter, this is the beautiful scenes of the Earth that I want to take even more, but not only from the space station. I'm sure I can communicate about, you'll be able to communicate about the beautiful scenes of the Earth, for sure. My name is Hayashi. I'm a freelance journalist. No-san, thank you very much. You seem very seem to be enjoying your stay. What are the stressful or challenging experiences you have had in your stay so far? Under such situation, how did you manage and cope with the stress? And in a 10 days, extra 10 days more stay in the space, but is there anything that you really like to accomplish or do before you come back to the Earth? Thank you for your question. In the first 1 or 2 days, or in the first initial 1 week, when I look back, that was quite challenging and difficult, because until the time my body gets used to it, and then in every day, I have to work and accumulate day by day and focus on the mission I have to do on that day, and also to do the good exchange and communication with people on the ground. So that's how I come to the 160-day stay. For the long-term stay, but that is a repetition of the same days. So for the extra 10 days I have left, I'd like to work and to be healthy and good for the rest of my stay.
My name is Matsuda from Gigi. From the Twitter, thank you for sending us beautiful pictures. Now, from the Kibo's window, you were able to see the space and the Earth. What was the most wonderful scene that was the most impressive to you? Well, yes, the Earth, no matter where, it was beautiful. And it was this beauty that we've never seen. I think Earth is full of such beauty, which is not so much known to us before. So I was able to discover the beauty every day. And another thing is that when the space shuttle docks, or when the space shuttle re-enters the atmosphere, I took some pictures of them, but when the human being comes to the space and goes back to the Earth, it's really overwhelming, and it's really powerful. And you can see that our friend is there, and that was really a moving scene for me. My name is Sta from Mainichi Shimbun. Mr. Noguchi, the Minister Maehara's in the council, our panel, had been saying that there has been no accomplishments in terms of industrial aspects of the scientific experiments carried out by ISS. So, there's a budget of 40 billion yen annually spent for this program. What is your idea on this? Well, yes, I think that is a very important question. I think in this Kibo, this is a facility where various experiments are being conducted. And so together with the researchers on the ground, we have been conducting various experiments, and the accomplishments are huge, and we have been able to conduct wonderful experiments, and we'd like to share that to the among the researchers in the world. And so the other experiments will be returned back to Earth. And so I would like to continue with our efforts to share with the people what we have been doing. My name is Sawano from Kyoto Tsushi. You said that freeze-dried tuna was very delicious. Now, what would you bring to the space if you had another chance? And also, what is the one thing that you want to eat back here on Earth? Well, yes, thank you very much. Well, the next time, if I have a chance, of course, I ate sushi this time, so perhaps it will be an ordinary soba or udon noodles I might enjoy. Those that, the fast food noodles, I think they might be delicious here. when I go back to Earth, well, I would like to spend time with my family and eat ordinary daily food, hot, warm food, and I'd like to eat it with hashi, chopsticks. My name is Osanai of Sankei Shimbun. I'd like to ask Mr. Noguchi. Well, you'll be taking the flight on Soyuz to and back to the space and back to the Earth as well. So what was your impression? Soyuz has experienced various troubles in the past. Is there anything that you're worried about? Well, now, with regards to the Soyuz, I'm the flight engineer of Soyuz, and I had enjoyed a very wonderful experience here. But to be able to be involved in the manned flight of space aircraft is something that is really honoring to me. And so I would like to use this experience of mine this time for further development. Now, Soyuz has a long history, and in terms of safety, I think that it is very high. Even if there is abnormalities, there are systems that could back up. So multiple redundant type of technology is there, so I have no anxiety whatsoever on landing. This is Nikkei Shimbun, Arai. Now, you talked about there was significance of ISS. I'd like to ask some questions. I'm sure there are some opinions on experiments in space, but would there be any proposals that you can make on possible experiments in space? Are there anything that you came to notice? Well, yes, this time in the new experience was the fish scale, and so as we're now going to experience the aging society, and people's bones will be more vulnerable and weak. So the Kibo's experience may help to solve these issues using our own physical bodies. We were able to experience have some experiments on the bones. So perhaps we could contribute to the solution of health issues that people have on Earth. And I think that that kind of experience is a very important osteoporosis issue. It's something that is shared by many people. So I think many of the Japanese would understand the significance. My name is Hayashi, freelance. I have two questions. Now, ISS is a huge artificial space, but outside of the wall there's a huge space. And so now this is a closed facility, and just one side out of it, there's death, I suppose. Don't you feel the threat of death? Because I hear that you sound alarms going off frequently. Is it some place where you can live ordinarily without feeling such threat? And also, 240,000 followers have for your Twitter. And so, have you ever imagined that you'll have such 240,000 followers of the Twitter? Are there anything that you found interesting in that aspect? Well, yes. In the last flight, I carried out spacewalk, and at that time, I thought that with that spacesuit, out of that spacesuit, it is a world of death or darkness, and I felt it with my own body. Now, this time we had this cupola. It's a big window, but when we look at the space through the window, we could see that there is no difference. I can't feel such a big difference between inside and outside of the window. So it's like because the Earth is just one of the planets that is floating in the space as we are as well. Well, ISS can cannot be called a planet, however, but we are both floating in the space, so maybe we're equal. So for us human beings, we are people, crew, who are on this planet Earth, so it's the same thing. So as for the Twitter, I didn't expect that there will be so many followers, and I didn't think that so many people would sympathize with me. And so for me, I took a long time. There was such a beauty in the Earth that this was the first time for me to realize that beauty. And that is something that I didn't expect, and it was really delightful for me to find out that so many people were interested in the Twitter.
Atlantis ISS. This is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes the event.
Thank you.
And thank you, media at JSC, KSC, and